Tyron from eDev. He's the one that does the eCast. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, he wasn't able to be here yesterday nor today. Okay. Yesterday he was busy with a roadshow in Bloemfontein. He came back late last night. Actually, I don't think he drinks. He hasn't been long enough in the field yet. And today he had some family things that he had to attend to. So what we can do is Google eDev systems. First one is the downloads eDev systems. This is just for information purposes for you guys. Once you've opened up, you'll get your questionnaire that you have to fill in. You select the products that you want, and it gives you access to the download manuals, the downloadable manuals, and as well as the software. Okay. Once you've downloaded the software, like I got the training manual, the user manual, and the software itself. So with the on-site PABX that you get, you'll be receiving a USB dongle with the device, with the PABX. Okay. That USB dongle is very important. If the client loses it, it gets stolen, it's lost, or whatever the case is, if it's no longer there, we need to replace that dongle, and those dongles cost money because the license key for the software is encrypted into that dongle. Instead of having a license key that you can punch in, the license key in this case is the actual dongle. Okay. So if you do install it on site, please tell the client. No, we don't use those. So if you do install it at a site, please tell the client, make them aware that the dongle is at the back of the PC or wherever it is, and it must always be there. Okay. So don't install it at the receptionist PC that she can unplug it every time she wants to charge her cell phone into that USB port. Okay. So preferably ask the client, can they provide you with a dedicated PC for the TMS? If possible, some clients are willing to do it, and the IT guys, most of them will suggest it as well. If you're using a server of the PC of the client, ask them, do they have an additional network point in that server? Okay. You don't want to install this as applications on a PC that they barely use, because if they don't switch on the PC, the records won't be spooled to the PC. So preferably use a server of the client. Ask them, does the server have an additional network point? If it does, take a LAN cable from that network point into your switch. So you still, even though you're connecting to their server, but you're connecting directly to their server on that specific port. So their data won't interfere on our network at all. Okay. I've had it where clients, where the IT guy actually suggests, can I give you another network point on my server? And we do it that way. Okay, so the guys are more than willing to help, but in the case that the client is just a bit fussy and they say no, then ask them, do they have a dedicated PC for the TMS? Explain to them, once we connect our network to their network, there can be problems, and if they don't set up VLANs, so if the client doesn't have managed switches, they can't set up VLANs, there definitely will be problems if we combine data and voice on the same network. Okay. The training manual, you guys can go through that on your time. You can go through everything. They show you what for an example, this is a device that they install on site. This is what the dongle will look like, DX10. Once you insert it, if I'm not mistaken, it will be a blue LED that will come up on the dongle, and then you know it's actually got power, it's working. Okay. Here they explain to you how to do the whole setup, where to click, so forth. When you install the dongle, it's going to ask you to update the drivers. Then you say, update my driver, but browse my PC for the updates. Do not update it via the internet. this manual shows you exactly where to go find the driver itself. Okay. There's a possibility, depending on the operating system of the PC, it might ask you to update it twice. So you just update the same procedure. Okay. We'll go through the entire setup together. Any questions that you have, and I'm not able to answer them, please send us a mail about the questions, and then we'll get the correct answers from Tyron, who wrote the program, and support. His office does support on the product themselves as well. Okay. Yeah, they explain by updating the driver. So I'm just browsing through it. And that's what the application will look like once installed and it's receiving data. So you'll have a column for date and time, the extension number, if there's a name on the extension, the type of call. 0 is outbound, I is inbound, IT is inbound transfer. Place, for example, if it was an outbound call, what network did it go to? Cell C mobile, MTN mobile. Here's one that's gone to Kloof. So this is Durban 031. Vodacom mobile. So you can see get a feel of what it looks like. The number that's dialed, the duration, the cost of the call. Remember, the cost of the call that the client will see here is not the actual cost that they'll be getting on the Freedom stuff. Okay, with the Freedom bundles, there's different bundles. So we provide different minutes on all the bundles. We can provide 2,000 minutes. I think there's one for 2,000 minutes, 3,000 minutes, 5,000, 5,800. There's 9,000. I think there's 8,000. There's a whole bunch of minute bundles that they can get. Those minute bundles, the cost of them is not the cost that you'll see here. The costing that they work on here is calculated on the phone number where this client is situated at. For example, if they're in Durban, you set up this TMS and it's going to ask you what's the client's phone number. You're going to punch in the 031 and the rest of the number. So when this client phones Joburg, it will do a calculation on Telkom rates and give you a cost for that call. So the client will be able to, at the end of the month, pull a report and see, okay, if I kept my Telkom lines, it would have cost me 5,000 Rand for all these outbound calls. But now I'm paying X amount. I have 2,000 minutes free a month, which is including my hardware, my minutes, and so forth. And the client is, argument's sake, paying, let's say, 2.5 or 3 grand a month. Okay. Don't keep me on the prices. I'm not a sales guy. Okay. I'm just using figures as an example. But the client will be able to see what he would have paid on Telkom compared to what he's getting with his solution that he has now. Okay. Ring. How long did it ring for an inbound call? So if a customer phones the client and says, I'm phoning your reception, it's been ringing for the last 30 seconds, they're not answering, the client can go and pull a report and see, okay, you called in at this date and time. How long did it actually ring before they answered? Okay, maybe the guy was just impatient and was actually ringing for 3 seconds instead of 30 seconds. Okay. Trunk line, of course, what trunk was used on the PBX. It will be stipulated there. Okay. There's other columns there, for example, departments, trunks, account codes, and so forth. Whatever has been set up on the PBX, if there's PIN codes on the PBX, all that information will be presented there. However, with PIN codes and account codes on or authorized codes and account codes on the PBX, those codes can be visible here. It can be visible when doing a report, or you can disable it and it will present you with stars, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Because if receptionist has to pull these reports on a weekly basis, you don't want her to see everybody's PIN codes. Okay, so you can hide those details so that she can't see them. Okay. There's filters that you can go and set, which really shouldn't be needed to be set. However, when you do an install of the eDev system, you guys are welcome to give us a call. We'll assist up until where we are no longer able to assist. Then we'll ask you to phone eDev themselves. They got a support team, and those guys will take it from there. Okay. Most of the time, we'll do the frontline support on the systems. Otherwise, we'll escalate it back to them, and they'll assist further. Okay. Here's a menu structure. Depending on the tabs that you click, the buttons at the bottom changes. As you can see, the tab from the top to the bottom has changed because this one is on basic reports, this one is on edit. Okay. So if you want to edit an extension and department and so forth, you know you want to edit, and you just look what you want to edit. Okay. I'm not going to go through this entire manual with you guys. We're going to do a setup itself. Okay. So, eCost setup. So, when you do install it, right click and say run as administrator. If run as administrator is not there, holding the shift key, while holding it in, you right click on the icon, and it will give you more options than what there previously was. Okay. Then we have run as administrator. Depending on the PC setup, you might need the administrator password. Speak to the IT guy. He'll provide it for you. Here we just click next. We accept the details. Next, next, next. Install, and it's finished. Okay. For those that never saw, all what you have to do is click next, next, accept, next, next, and it's done. Okay. On the desktop somewhere,
left where you are, next to HDE view.
Thank you. We'll have this icon eCost there. We can open that. Now it's going to ask you to run through the wizard to set up the application. We're going to run through the wizard. National dialing code. What is the client's phone number? Even though the client has a VoIP number, so 010, and the following number, try and put the client's main number in there. For an example, let's take our prefix here at our office. I don't know if we can type. Yeah, 0117999. Okay, that is our prefix that we got here at our office. And it picks up it's in Crowthorne, which is correct. Telephone number 799-7720. For those that don't have our number, you got it now. Okay. Then we can say assign default, and we say yes. Anniversary period. So that dongle will be, in this case, I'm not sure if it's the same, it's going to be the same for the Freedom, but normally it's a 12-month license key. The application will alert eDev automatically, stating that this client ABC Shoes, their license key has been, it's going to expire. They'll sort out the license key. Okay. With our solution, I'm sure the 5 years will be for free. Okay. I can't confirm that at the moment, but that's how it normally does work. With the cloud TMS that we have for the hosted solutions, our normal setup is you pay your first year for the cloud TMS is for free. After the second year, you pay X amount per extension that's being logged. That's if you do a normal PABX cell and you do the cloud TMS. However, with the Freedom products, if you use the cloud TMS, the full 5-year period of the Freedom product, we give you the cloud TMS for free. Okay. So here we just click on done. The application will take a little while to load because it's building all the database according to your number now. Now it's ready to be configured. When we log in, I just need to remember the password. It's not. It's admin. Thank you, Eugene. So lowercase admin, and the lock sign has been removed. Now we can go to settings. Now this is once the application has been installed, then we insert the dongle, and the dongle will install. And when it asks for the updates, unfortunately I don't have a dongle yet to show you guys. And then you just follow through the normal standard installation of a device driver. You just follow through the steps and it will install the driver. It asks you to update, follow through on the manual, which is open somewhere. And they explain to you where to go and find the driver update. Okay. So the one will be a serial port, and the other one will be a USB port. Sorry, the one will be a serial port itself, the other one will be a USB port that you have to update. Okay. So they tell you where to go and find the driver. So it will be under program files, ECAST, USB driver. Sorry, not USB driver, it will be under because you got a DX10 dongle. So let's go DX10 driver, because you got a DX10 dongle. Even though it's a USB dongle, it's labeled a DX10 dongle, and that is where you'll find your drivers. Okay. The place where it installs the file will be different to what the manual is, because in the setup of the manual, they most probably pointed it to program files. The only problem is if you install something under program files and not directly under root files, if you want to go and do changes in program files, you need Windows wants permissions for you to edit any files under program files. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that before. So if you do it under root directly, then you don't need to have any permissions to change files in there. Okay. Just point it to C drive, like what mine is here, and it just says installs it under C drive, ECAST. Okay. Dylan, do you want to take over here? Okay. So once the dongle has been inserted, there'll be a tab on top here picking up the dongle, and it will say DX10. Currently it's not in here because the dongle has been installed, so forth. Okay. Under basic, sorry, let's go to extensions. So under extension, this is where you're going to go and add your extensions. The extension number 2100, name, switchboard, last name, Mia Telecoms. We can go add a department, for example, to it, if there's departments. And extension budgeting, or select, deselect, and we click OK. Now that extension has been added. So when a call comes in, or and it goes to that extension, or a call has been made out, now that name will be presented there, and we know who that extension belongs to. Okay, that is when you refer back to the one slide where we saw the whole graph. Sort of just having extension numbers, you don't know who's at the number. You can now see the names of that number. Okay. Under company info, this is what you're going to be doing for the company. ABC Shoes, address. That's a street in Soweto. Don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Put in a fax number and the email of the client. Site details, you can go and put details in there. And once again, that is what we've followed through on the wizard. Click on save, click on close. Divisions, if there's multiple divisions in a company, add the divisions. Departments, of course we're going to have, for example, HR, we can have a department number, let's just make it 1. And they're going to be paying low rates. We're going to have number 2, this is going to be technical, they'll be paying high rates for their calls. So that is just basically, if a client wants to set up, for example, a department that has to pay for their own calls. So every department has a budget, and if that department makes 20 calls a month, they pay for their own 20 phone calls that they've made. So now the boss can say, okay, but that department actually has to pay a bit higher rates because they're abusing the phones. So that's a type of thing that you can do. Okay. So there we have our two departments, for example. Extensions, the switchboard, I can go edit it, and I can say it now belongs under HR. Okay, now department is HR. Trunk lines, every PBX has trunk lines. So our sub trunks are 835. Trunk number, we just label it sub. Tariff plan, we can have, argument's sake, VoIP, voice and data, or we can have Crowthorne, which is a default. Preferably set it to default so that the client can see what would he have paid on Telkom, because when he gets a bill from us, you'll see what his actual cost on the calls were. Okay. If a client, this is a question that you can answer a client. If they tell you, okay, I bought a 2,000 minute bundle with this Freedom stuff. What happens if my 2,000 minutes are depleted? Do you guys know what the answer to that can be? Just want to take a sip while you guys are thinking about that.
62 cents, I think it is.
They won't be able to phone out.
Your answer is correct. It's just the amount that is different.
Yeah, 60 something.
The last I heard is 1 cent per second. Yeah, so it's per second billing, and I think it's incremented at 1 cent per second. Okay, so it's pure per second billing. Okay, so it's not a matter of 2,000 minutes are depleted, you can't dial out, they've blocked your lines, you have insufficient funds in your account, stuff like that. Okay. There is, guys, we are able to do it as well, set a limit, but we don't do that. Okay. Because if you cut a client's lines off, you might as well close his doors until the end of the month for him to get the new minutes. Okay. Don't know about you guys, but not being able to phone out is really crap. So for a company, it's even worse. So yeah, we can.
So the client will see it on his bill the next month that he went over, and if
the-
it's constantly going over, then it can be reviewed in terms of its contract or whatever.
Yeah, if it's feasible on the contract side, then they can increase the minutes or so. But of course, it's the sales guy's responsibility to make sure he doesn't undersell the minutes to the client. Okay, because when the client gets his invoice, it will state 2,000 free minutes, over usage 2,000 minutes, and it's costing him, argument's sake, 2,000 rand.
Is the billing cycle from the first?
The billing cycle is from the 20th to the 20th. That's a billing cycle on our side, and the client has to pay, I think, on the 25th or the 24th. He has to pay us. The client pays us directly. We set up a debit order with the client directly.
So if he doesn't use his minutes, does it get carried over?
No. He gets 2,000, argument's sake, 2,000 minutes per month. If he uses 1,000 minutes this month, next month, he doesn't have 3,000, he still has 2,000. Okay.
And that's minutes.
That's minutes. It's not rand value. So we give you 2,000 minutes.
So if I I made a phone call, 3 seconds, that's just 3 seconds off.
Off the 2,000 minutes.
So, yes.
Is international calls covered in those fees?
International calls are not included in the 3 minutes. The reason for that is, I don't know if you guys ever dealt with international calling before. Every country has their own tariff plan. Okay, if I phone, argument's sake, Zimbabwe, I have to pay them for me to phone them. Okay, if I phone Australia, argument's sake, they'll pay me to make a call to them. Something like that. Okay, phoning Australia will be 2 rand a minute. Phoning Zimbabwe will be 20 rand a minute. Okay, so that if a client requires international, they need to send us an email on a company letterhead stating they want international to be opened. By default, it is barred. So with the company letterhead, authority from the boss, of course, then we'll open up international for them. And they'll be billed for those calls separately. It's not part of the minutes.
Can you open it up just for specific carriers? Let's say
Yeah, the client will
the
say,
client is dealing with people in Botswana or Sub-Saharan Africa, so please just open those ones.
yeah, the client will then need to send us a list of numbers, the prefixes, saying, I only deal with people in the following countries. These are the number prefixes that I deal with. These are the numbers I want to dial. All other numbers then we'll block. Okay. Okay. If a client has analog lines on site, for example, if they don't want to port their number and they want to keep their number on site, then we go and add those details in here as well.
Tariff plan.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 7. Just choose default. Okay. Jared has done a few installs. He's there in the corner. A few Freedom installs already. We actually had a chat outside now where a client ported their numbers. I just want to mention this before we all walk out, and it hasn't been mentioned. The CLI on the local on the on-site PBX does not change. We don't change anything on the CLI on the PBX. Okay, the CLI gets changed on our side, on our Porter One platform. Okay, so if a client ports a number, you don't have to log into the PBX and go and change the send CLI configuration. We do it on our side. The only thing that you have to make sure on the PBX is on your DID table. All the numbers that has been ported has to be listed on the DID table. If it hasn't been listed, I'm going to call into that number. It's not going to ring anyway. Okay.
You change the number 323, you won't allow it.
Yeah. We authenticate every outbound call on the CLI being sent out. Okay. There's the eCost is. It's a bit difficult for me to explain to you guys what it all can do and what all needs to be set up. What I would suggest is I can rather give you guys a breakdown of the eCost itself, create like a manual like what I've done for the other documents, and just tell you exactly what needs to be configured. But for an example, in the next, say, week, if you go in and do an install like this, give us a call. We have another guy in the office that does support on this as well. I personally don't do a lot of support on this. I'm more on this and the SCM side of it. And then he can just explain to you guys just in the beginning how to do this. Okay. Sorry, I feel really bad telling you guys that, but I hope you'll understand. The user manual and the training manual is also available on that site that you can just read through before you go do an install. Okay. I would rather concentrate on, because this isn't, it's vital information to know, but I would rather concentrate on the things that that will affect the client directly. Okay. For example, the PBX, we still need to go through the SIP side, how to configure the PBX. Okay. Are you guys fine and happy that we move on from the eCost?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information on the eCast, so I would prefer to get the correct information than give you the wrong information.
Heb je nog any line bottom geplakt nie?
Thank you.
You still plug in the input. But it should still be able to.
No, I shouldn't.
Still be able to.
No, it won't give me access there. No.
This is working like a router.
That will give me access to, yeah. The DHCP on that, no. I've tried it before.
That's like a LAN port.
Yeah.
It's like a small switch on this guy.
I've tried it before, didn't want to. So, okay. In your document, you'll have the installation for the SIP side. Those are the MMCs that we'll be using. So just give me a second.
To be honest, we went through the LCR and everything yesterday.
Oh, okay. We'll just add 37 and yeah.
So we might be about 5 minutes. The guys started to, I can phone him and tell him to hold the plane. No, it's not.
But it's business class, isn't it? So it should be fine. Okay. Of course, you're going to need SIP and MJI licenses. LCR needs to be set up, which you guys have gone through yesterday. Did you do the modifier?
Yeah, discuss the modifier.
And it's going to be configured for the Freedom or not?
Just
Okay.
tell him how the
Okay.
modifier is.
So the,
We actually went through your setup on this. So
is it? Oh, okay. And then modifier is extremely important because if you don't send the number to us as a 27 and the rest of the number, we will deny the call. It will actually come back and tell you the call is not covered by your tariff plan because it's thinking it's a weird prefix trying to be dialed. Okay. Of course, your DID ringing for your ported numbers as well as your VoIP number needs to be in there. And then your MJI options and your SIP trunk in 603. If your MJI license states 3 MGIs, then in 603 and 615, your members needs to be 3 only. Okay. Don't have more members than what your license is. Okay. And then of course, SIP options where you set your DTMF. Do you guys know what the DTMF is used for? What does it do? Yeah. Okay. So I have to ask these questions. Okay. In this case, we just got a tutorial license running here, and that's why we got max license on all these things. Okay. LTR, we enable that. You guys gone through that. The SendCLI will be the VoIP number. Has to be the VoIP number. If it's not the VoIP number, we will deny your call. You won't be able to dial out.
At the point where the customer's numbers are ported, we can then change it to the
Not on the PBX. We change it on our side, on the platform. So when the client does dial out, their ported number will be visible. Yeah. If your SIP trunk shows 4 licenses, you're only going to have 4 trunks in here. You're not going to have all 8. Okay. The same under 615, you're only going to have your first 4 members in all your columns. The bottom 4 members will be deleted. Okay. 710, of course, your routing digits. Dallin has explained to you the difference between the routing tables, I hope. Believe he did. So this is just an example what was done. 712 is your routing table, where we have out of 5 modifier 1. The next one will be out of 5 modifier 2, so root number 2. Number 3 will have different ones. Okay. There is more configuration needed than just this one MMC. For example, if you want to have your SIP lines, if all SIP lines are full or busy or so, or not available, meaning the trunk is down because the LTE connection has dropped for any reason or so, the client is able to automatically fail over to their on-site lines that they have. Okay. I just added this, but there is more configuration to this than just this one MMC. If you want to set this up, you guys are welcome to give us a call. We can explain to you, but it will also be covered in the T1 to T5 training that you all will be attending in the next year, I hope. Okay. 713, this is the modified digits itself. So when I dial a 082 number, I'm dialing 0 for a line, 082, because that is what the client will be dialing. But now what the system is going to do, it's going to delete the 0 of 082. Delete the 0 and insert 27. So I dial 0, the system will automatically insert 27 and the rest of the cipher number. Because we can't ask the client to dial 0 for a line, 274 and the rest of the number. 2782, the client's going to get confused. If they have to dial a landline number, 2731 and so forth, they're not going to do that. Okay. So that's why we do it on the PABX side. On the hosted solution, it gets done there automatically as well. So that configuration I'm not going to show you guys because you don't deal with that at all. International, you're going to dial 0 for a line, 00, and then the number. However, when the number gets to us, we don't want to see the 00. We just want to see the prefix. For example, England is 446 or something. If I dial them, it's going to be 0, 00, 446. Delete the 00. So the system will only send 446 to the SIP server. Telkom mobile numbers, Telkom directory numbers, 102.1.7, 102.1.5 and so forth. We can't send the number as a 2.1 in front. So don't do anything with a digit. If I dial 0 for a line, 102.1.7, send the 102.1.7 as is. That's why we use a modified table of 3, but don't do anything to the call. Okay. That is very important. If that's not done, you won't be able to dial out. Okay. There's an explanation on top there for you as well to show you what happens. 714, the best is to have all 3 number formats in your DID. So I'm sure you've all seen, if someone phones you on your cell phone, the call shows +27 and the rest of the number. Okay. The PABX doesn't know what a plus is. Okay. The PABX sees a plus as a hash sign. So it's #27 and the number. You add 27 and the number and 010 as a number. If the client has ported their number, you're going to have #27 and the ported number. 27 and the ported number and 0 and the ported number. Okay. That has to be done, otherwise inbound will be a problem as well. Okay. So there's an example of what it will look like. Also make sure on your DID table, once you've added your your numbers, scroll all the way to the right and enable call waiting on those DIDs. Okay, call waiting has to be enabled. We also have to configure the codecs on the PABXs. So the same as on the iSurf base where we have to move 729 all the way to the top. So on the PABX, here is a drop down that we can select and we just make sure it's 729A, save and apply that. Okay. In 837, this is where you do the actual sub-trunk registration. So those commands at the bottom, those fields, those are the only options that you'll be editing. Okay. Subserver enable, by default it will be disabled. So once you've first do your configuration, then you go back and you say enable. There will be another option there just below that will say subserver or server available. That will be no until it registers, and then only it will say yes. Okay. If it doesn't say yes, you won't be able to dial in or out on the VoIP. Okay. Registrar address is the subserver. That is the subserver's IP address. That is the IP address that you guys can start learning out your head, because you'll be using that IP address to do pings, trace routes, and so forth when you do troubleshooting and installation on site. Okay. So when you install a router or so, that's the IP address that you're pinging to, and take a screenshot of the latency of that ping that you're going to be sending. Username, auth username, that's the same, that will be the VoIP number of the client. That will be the same VoIP number. The password will be sent to you guys. And then your timers at the bottom there are all in seconds. So 300 seconds is 5 minutes. Okay. Once again, we are looking into it to reduce that 5 minutes, but at this moment it is still a problem because sending too many registration requests to a server, the server thinks it's someone's trying to hack it or so, hacking in that account. So it starts denying the activity. Now? Why? Yes, you guys are like, yeah, really? You can leave at 4 and be there at 5. Okay, no, it's cool. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you. Speak to you guys Monday. Okay. So this is what it will look like once it's been added. And then the proxy domain name and local domain name and so forth, we don't use that. It's just the registrar, the outbound, the sub details, your timers, save and apply. Okay.
We use DDIs, then you use that register per user.
No. The DDIs, we load them as aliases. We don't do register per user. Unless it depends, it will be site dependent. Yeah, it will be site dependent. Their platform and our platform is different. Although we're running off the same backbone, but we got a different portal to what they have, our configuration is different to what they have. Okay. Of course, your DTMF and this 861 in-band RFC 2833. Okay. Then your SIP is done. Your PABX is set up. You guys are able to dial in, dial out. Okay. Remember, do not change the CLI on the PABX. We change the CLI on our side. If a client ports their numbers, most of the clients, so far it's been 99% of the clients that's got a Freedom installation has ported their numbers. Okay. So when you do the install, find out what is all the phone numbers there on site. You'll be able to just plug a turn into the bud into the Chronoblocks, dial 101 or something. Yeah. Just identify all the numbers and load them onto the DID table of the PBX. Do it then and then it's done. Don't have to worry about it. Because as soon as a client gets the installation, normally within 2 days they port their number. Okay. There is instances where the install takes place today, tonight they port. Okay. So we don't wait on porting. If the installation is in and it's working, we port as soon as possible. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. Just for all of you, those that don't have our details, let me just increase the font there a bit. Come on. Okay. Our technical team are in the Freedom email group as well. So you can send to either one really, but in the Freedom one we have some salespeople included there as well. Okay. If it's something to do with the installation or so forth, send it to Freedom. But if you're on site and you've got a technical query, you can send it to us and we'll attend to it. Okay. If you phone our switchboard, ask for Mia Technical. Do not just ask for technical. We got about 1, 2, 3, say about 4 different technical departments here. They might put you through to OA, which is the office automation. And they won't know how to troubleshoot a SIP call or anything like that. The same if you've got a copier thing, you guys are welcome to give us and Mia Technical a call. We'll assist where we can. However, we're going to transfer you back to the OA division. So to make it easier for you, if you have a copier on site and you do an installation for the client, when you call in, ask for office automation, copier technical. Then you when you get through to the right department, you'll be assisted a lot quicker. Okay.
Where's your cell phone number?
There it is. It's a new Vodacom number.
Is dit nie daai foto en ek sien nommer vir jou wees?
Eugene. Jy weet ek like jou, nee. Maar as jy my nommer gaan uitgee, gaan ek jou nie like nie.
12 o'clock, 1 o'clock tonight.
Okay. Any questions?
I'm gonna
Any?
make a test call from this phone here now. The phone Quentin's cell phone. And I'm gonna walk away. If y'all come and hit redial, I'm not responsible.
Okay. Anything that you guys would like to ask that's not clear? Sorry about the e-cost. Yeah, we were hoping that Taran would be, yeah. Unfortunately,
I was waiting for that to go up, and then I was going to make a test call to show you all the e-cost was working. I told him couldn't, so. But at the end of the day, it came in.
On-site
You guys
recording?
have done it.
no, the on-site voice recording. We record in the cloud, not on the same solution as what the hosted Freedom bundles are. That will be on the subserver side, and that username and password will be sent to the client themselves. I've never logged into that recorder before, so I can't give you any information on that. Okay. I don't do support on that end there. The guys from Voice and Data give support directly on that. Okay. I'll give whatever we presented here this weekend. I'll be able to support you besides the e-cost. But we can always, when on site, we can always figure it out and see. Okay.
Last question is for the e-cost for now.
I'm sure
Says Mia doesn't sell man 3000 anymore.
we sell decent products, so not Man 3000. Okay. Any questions? You guys happy? Okay.
Thank you.
Before we close up, any other questions? Anything at all?
I have something not related to this.
Any questions related to what we did?
So on Monday, argument's sake, you guys get an installation. You are able to follow through the installation and do everything. Take photos of the pole, the bracket, the cabinet, if you install a cabinet, the shelf. Send us all those photos.
The pole
Well-
that will mount the LTE. We don't want to get any other poles, pictures in our...
Remember, you're sending them to ladies, eh? So, so you guys are happy. You. Once you get a job card to state this is a bundle that you'll be installing, that will be the picker sending you that, so you'll just reply back to her. Yeah. Haven't you guys done any installers yet? Okay.
Good luck.
Are those the only phones on the Freedom deal at the moment?
Yes.
You're not going to need like the iPhones, the iOS or...
No, remember something. Night before and the end of the day is the night before.
Yeah.
It'll still be
Okay.
configured for you.
Sorry, guys. This is. It might seem very, very tedious to explain this. This phone, when it comes in the box, comes with a little user guide. Please go through that user guide if you haven't worked on one of these phones before. Okay. The reason is these buttons, the transferring buttons, the conference buttons, all of them are not labeled. It's the new layout of Samsung. They don't label these buttons. If you're not sure what a button is without the user guide, push the button and see what happens. Okay, once you're on a call, push the button. Okay. For example, the transfer button is two handsets looking at each other. So you're going to press that button and then dial the extension number and you're going to put down the handset. I've had a guy do an install and he was dialing the conference button to transfer a call to the other side, and they couldn't understand. Every time they put this handset down, they disconnect the person on the opposite end. Okay. It carried on for about a week. And then the guy remembered, oh yeah, you can phone us for support. So we explained to him, please press the transfer button, not the conference button. Okay. So go through the guide that comes with the phone if you're not familiar with the setup. Also leave that guide with the client. So if the client forgets, they have a little guide to fall back onto.
Any service codes in that guide is
Sorry?
active. Any service codes in that guide is active.
Not necessarily. Some of them might be different because the service guide because it's a factory guide that's been created here. So some might be,
So you
some
just
aren't.
inform the customer, listen,
Yeah.
this is a guide.
Yes,
If some features are not the same in this guide.
that's it, yeah. Because it's different platforms that they've
Each country's got
developed.
specifications.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Ja, as jy net ek kan sien hoe hulle preentjies skryf. Is nou minder mense kan lees.
Okay.
Okay, guys, anything else? I think we've had a long weekend.